day 186 of the Blue Letters Bible app, Bible in a Year. This is chronological Bible study, folks. That way, when you look at it chronologically, it makes a lot more sense. We're going through different kings and we've got two different kingdoms right now, with a king down there doing something and a king up here doing something. We're talking about Judah, the southern kingdom, and Israel, the northern 10 tribes of the northern kingdom, and trying to keep all that straight. It's a little easier with Blue Letter Bible app, putting it in a chronological timeline for us. So we've got 2 Kings 12 and 13. In the 7th year, Joash. In the 7th year of Jehu, then Joash began to reign, and 42 years reigned in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Ziba of Beersheba. And Joash did which was right in the sight of Jehovah all his days, wherein Jehoiada the priest instructed him. So we have Jehu in the northern kingdom, and then we have Joash in the southern kingdom. All right? One was doing right, and it blew me away when I was reading the other day. Okay, Jehu goes and fulfills what God wanted him to do. Okay, Elisha sends a guy, anoints him king, and Jehu goes out and clears out all the Baal worshipers. But he stays doing the sins of Jeroboam. Okay, he did not clean up the golden calf that was in Bethel or the golden calf that was in Dan. They stayed doing that. So, that Jehu, you cannot have feasts any old time you want, assign it to God, or anywhere you want. It's Deuteronomy 12. If you're a Torah follower, and you're somehow kicking to the curb Deuteronomy 12 and Deuteronomy 16, where it says, do not feast outside the land, what are you doing? We have to remove this log out of our eyes so we can see clearly, to help our other Christian fellows figure out that they shouldn't be worshiping these pagan holidays. Okay, but you have to get out there and you have to tell them, and you have to get the log out of our eye. All right? So, the sins of Jeroboam, folks. Don't do it. It's bad news. Joash did what was right in the sight of Jehovah all his days, wherein Jehoiada instructed him. Jehoiada is the high priest, but the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed burnt incense in the high places. Man, these guys always leave a little leaven, all right? They always leave a little leaven. That ought to tell us something, all right? Verse 4, and Joash said to all the priests, all the money and dedicated things that is brought into the house of Jehovah, even the money, every one that passes the account of the money, every man is set at, and all the money that cometh into a man's heart to bring into the house of Jehovah, let the priest take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house, whatsoever any breach to be found. Okay, so the temple was in mass disrepair. They had to remove all this Baal stuff from it. So now they're going to fix it. But he's going to have to bust out these priests because they don't end up fixing it. But he gets them on the right path. But so that in 3 and 20th year of King Joash, the priest had not repaired the breaches of the house. Then King Joash called Jehoiada the priest and the other priests and said unto them, why repair ye not the breach of the house? Now therefore receive no more money of your own acquaintance, but deliver it for the breach of the house. And the priest consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest, bored a hole in the lid of it, set it beside the altar on the right side as one cometh into the house of Jehovah, and the priest that kept the door in therein, and all the money that was brought into the house of Jehovah. And it was so. When they saw that there was much money in the chest, the king's scribes and the high priest came up, and they put it in bags and told the money that was found in the house of Jehovah. And they gave the money being told into the hands of them that did the work and the oversight of the house of Jehovah. And they laid it out to the carpenters and the builders and that wrought up the house of Jehovah, and to the masons and to the hewers of stone, and to buy timber and hewed stone and repair the breaches of the house of Jehovah, for all that was laid out for the house to repair it. Howbeit, there were not made for the house of Jehovah bowls of silver and snuffers and basins and trumpets and any vessels of gold or silver of the money that was brought into the house of Jehovah. But they that the workmen had repaired there with the house of Jehovah. Moreover, they reckoned with the men into the house, and they delivered the money to be bestowed on the workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and the sin money was not brought into the house of Jehovah. It was the priests. Then Hazael, the king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Joash, king of Judah, took all the hallowed things that Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Uzziah, his fathers and the kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of Jehovah, and all the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, the king of Syria, and he went away from Jerusalem. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all he did, are they not written in the books of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And the servants arose and made a conspiracy, and slew Joash in the house of Milo, and which goeth down to Silo. Jehoshar, son of Shemath, and Jehozabad, son of Shomar, his servant, smote him, and he died, and buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Azamiah, his son, reigned in his stead. 23 year of Joash, the son of Uzziah, the king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and he followed in the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. Okay, this is an ongoing thing. Okay, each one of these kings of Israel follows in the sins of Jeroboam. The sins of Jeroboam are feasting outside of Jerusalem, reconnecting. Okay, outside of Jerusalem, and the anger. So that's the sins of Jeroboam, guys. The anger of Jehovah kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, and all their days. And Jehoahaz besought Jehovah, and Jehovah hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Assyria oppressed them. And Jehovah gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam. Look how long-suffering God is. Okay? It's been 2,000 years we've been going sideways. Okay? It looks to be that it's coming to a head. This stuff happens over and over again. He's long-suffering, folks. But they give us some hints on what to look for in the New Testament. Okay, those will be different. I'll just put it this way: read Mark 13, Matthew 24. Do you know the parable of the fig tree? If you don't know the parable of the fig tree, then you're not watching. And he will come unto you like a thief in the night. And you see, over and over again, he came unto them like a thief in the night. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel to sin, but walked therein and remained the grove in Samaria. They didn't burn the grove down, they should have. Neither did they leave of the people of Jehoahaz, but 50 horsemen and 10 chariots and 10,000 footmen, for the king of Syria had destroyed them and had made them like the dust by threshing. Now, the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz and all he did and his might, are they not written of in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. And Joash his son reigned in his stead. In the 37th year of Joash, king of Judah, began Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, to reign over Israel and Samaria. And he reigned 16 years. And he did which was evil in the sight of Jehovah. And he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam. So the next king does the same thing. The sons of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all he did, and all he fought, and with all his might, and he fought against Amaziah, the king of Judah, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne. And Joash buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elijah was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elijah said unto him, Take a bow and arrows. And he took them, and the bow and the arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, Put thy hand upon thy bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elijah said, Put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. And Elijah said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The arrow of Jehovah's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek, till thou have consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him. He said he should have smited 5 or 6 times. Not just those 3 times, just 5 or 6 times. Then he had smitten Syria until thou consumed it. Whereas now thou smite Syria but thrice. Then Elijah died, and he buried them. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land in the coming year. And it came to pass, as they buried a man, that they spied a band of men. And they cast the men into the sepulchre of Elijah. And when the man was let down, he touched the bones of Elijah and revived, and stood upon his feet. But King Hazael of Syria oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And Jehovah was gracious unto them, and he had compassion on them, and he had respect unto them, because of the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he would not destroy them, neither cast them from his presence as of yet. As of yet. Okay, this is chapter 13, folks. We know what happens in chapter 17. So King Hazael of Syria died, and Ben-Hadad, his son, reigned. And Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, took again the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, and the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz, his father, by war. 3 times did Jehoahaz beat him, and recovered the cities of Israel. In the 2nd year of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, the king of Israel, reigned Amaziah, the son of Joash, the king of Judah. Okay, that's chapter 14. So now I'm going to 2 Chronicles 24. So we ended with 3 times did Joash beat him and recovered the cities of Israel. So he smote the ground 3 times. So there you go. So now we're going to hear perhaps the same story in the book of Chronicles. Jehoash was 7 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. Remember, they hid out Joash. They had to hide him from Azamiah, or whatever her name was. They had to hide her. She was an evil woman. They had to hide her because she was killing all the king's seed. So they hid him until he was old enough to take over. Joash was 7 years old and he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ziba of Beersheba, But Joash did which was right in the sight of Jehovah all his days of Jedidiah the priest. And Jedidiah took him 2 wives and begat sons and daughters. And it came to pass after this that Joash was minded to repair the house of Jehovah. And he gathered together the priests and the Levites and said unto them, Go out into the cities of Judah and gather the Israel money to repair the house of your God from year to year, and see that ye hasten the matter. Howbeit the Levites hastened it not. Things don't change, do they, guys? Not a thing changes. Over and over again. And the king called for Jedidiah the chief and said unto him, Why hast thou not required of the Levites to bring in out of Judah and out of Jerusalem the collection according to the commandment of Moses and the servant of Jehovah? And was the congregation of Israel for the tabernacle of witness. For the sons of Athaliah, the wicked woman, had broken up the house of God, and also all the dedicated things of the house of God they did bestow upon Balaam. See, these people took over the temple, and they were worshiping Balaam. You're warned not to bring green trees into the altar. Over and over again, same old thing. And the king commandment, they had made a chest and set it without at the gate of the house of Jehovah. And they made a proclamation through Judah and Jerusalem to bring into Jehovah a collection that Moses, the servant of God, laid upon Israel in the wilderness. And all the princes and all the people rejoiced and brought in and cast into the chest until they had made an end. And when it came to pass that it was time that the chest brought into the king's office, in the hand of the Levites, when they saw it was there much money, and the king's scribe and the high priest's officer came and emptied the chest and took it and carried it to its place again, and thus did day by day, and gathered the money in abundance. And the king of Jehoiada gave it to such as did the work of the servant of the house, and hired the masons and the carpenters to repair the house, and was also such wrought as iron and brass to mend the house of Jehovah. So the workmen brought it, and the work was perfected by them. And they set the house of God in its state and strength, and strengthened it. And when they had finished it, they brought the rest of the money before the king of Jehoiada, where he made vessels of the house of Jehovah, even the vessels to the minister to offer withal, and the spoons and the vessels of gold and silver, and they offered burnt offerings in the house of Jehovah continually all the days of Jedidiah. But Jedidiah waxed old, and he was full of days, and he died at 130 years old when he died. And they buried him in the city of David among the kings, because he had done good in Israel, and both toward God and toward his house. Now, after the death of Jedidiah, came the prince of Judah and made obedience to the king, and he hearkened unto them. And they left the house of Jehovah, the God of their fathers, and served And the king hearkened unto them, and they left the house of Jehovah, the God of their fathers, and served the groves and the idols, and wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for their trespass. Yet he sent prophets to them to bring them unto Jehovah again, and they testified against them, but they would not give ear. I read this book over and over again. And this is a confession here, guys. Okay? I had a bad state of mind toward a brother of mine. Okay? I had a bad state of mind toward that fellow, and I knew it was wrong, so I was gonna go apologize. And then I was shown a scripture. Do you know how many times I've read Deuteronomy? There's not a day goes by that I don't end up in Deuteronomy somehow. Well, there was a verse that I've never seen before. Just boom. That completely captured where I was in error. So I had to repent of that error and go and apologize to this guy. You know, it was awesome. Now we've been in contact several times, and I mean it's really good. You know, so he loves us through his chastisement, folks. That's the love of God. When you're chastised, it's somebody loving you. Okay, if they're bringing you, if it's righteous judgment, and righteous judgment is what we find here. Now what we think here, guys. All right, and the Spirit of God came unto Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada, the priest, which stood above the people, and he said unto them, Thus saith God, why transgress ye commandments of Jehovah, that you not prosper, because ye have forsaken Jehovah, he has also forsaken you. And they conspired against him, and they stoned him with stones, and the commandments of the king in the court in the house of Jehovah. If you were to go into a church today and point out all the things that they do that are doctrines of men that are written against in this book, they would throw you out on your ear. The modern day stoning. Paul tells you you're not supposed to take a brother to court, but they'll call the cops on you. Just go read the Bible in the church. They'll call the cops on you. Thus Joash, the king, remembered not the kindness. And you know what? The prophets already wrote it all, guys. We just have to take up the work of the prophets and help get these people on the straight and narrow path again. Thus Joash, the king, remembered not the kindness which Jehoiada had done to him, but slew his son. And when he died, he said, Jehovah, look upon it and require it. Require it. Whoa. Who said require it? Moses did. In Deuteronomy 18, it will be required of you. And it came to pass at the end of the year that the host of Syria, if you don't know Deuteronomy 18, guys, you're missing the whole point of the Bible, the whole point. And when it came to pass at the end of the year, that the host of Syria came up against him, and they came to Judah and Jerusalem and destroyed all the princes of the people among the people, and sent all the spoil of them into the king of Damascus. For the army of the Syrians came with a small company of men, and Jehovah delivered a great host into their hand, because they had forsaken Jehovah, the God of their fathers. So they executed judgment against Joash. And when they were departed from him, they left him in great disease. For his own servants conspired against him for the blood of the sons of Jehoiada the priests, and slew him on his bed, and he died. And buried him in the city of David, but they buried him not in the sepulchre of the kings. These are they that conspired against him: Zebad, the son of Shemaiah, Mattathias of Jehozabad, the son of Shemoth of a Moabitess. Now concerning his sons, the greatness and the burdens laid upon him, and the repairing of the house of God, behold, they are written in the story in the books of Kings. And Amaziah the son reigned in his stead. All right. So there we go. We got Jehobad and Jehoiada and all that they were doing in the 2 Kings 12 and 13 and 2 Chronicles. That's one more day closer